Food. Oh, those military meals. Breakfast could be recognised by shape. Sausages, yes, but lunch. That white, watery mound could be spuds. But what was that heap of steaming green and black, and that knoll of boiled grey stuff that shuddered if you saw it? Visits from the orderly officers did little to help.
Any complaints?
Yes, sir. It's this.
Oh, what's wrong with this?
Nothing wrong, but what is it? Officer calls the head cook.
Sergeant, this man wants to know what this is.
That, sir, is the frappe mystique à la Aldershot. We implemented our meals in the naffy with Cornish pastries or the eternal doughnuts. In early days, doughnuts were liberally dusted with caster sugar, but as the war went on, they stopped. War was coming nearer, even for doughnuts. The cookhouse staff consisted of 2 ex-dustmen and the chef, Sergeant Paddy Harris, with multiple BO, black nails and halitosis. Medieval court poisoners couldn't have picked a more lethal trio. I could never help feeling they were paid by the Ministry of Bacteriological Warfare. Sergeant Harris was a regular. He went every morning without fail. In 1923, he was downgraded to B2 because of various veins that made his legs look like the maps of England's inland waterways. Still a citizen of the Republic, he spent his leave in Dublin. As far as the Irish were concerned, he was sabotaging the British war effort, and the way he cooked, they weren't far out. Every evening, Harris could be seen leaving the billet, his service dress stuffed with tins of fruit, cream, and other wartime goodies that he laid at the feet of his mistress prior to coitus. When he first met her, she was a little 6-stone darling. When we left Bexhill 2 years later, she weighed 14 stone and owned a chain of grocery stores. In 1940, he returned from leave with a piglet in his bag. He intended to fatten the animal and serve it to the battery for Christmas dinner in exchange for simple seasonal gifts, like 15 shillings a portion. The pig was called Brian Baru, and I asked why. Why, said Harris, sitting up in his reeking bed, to keep alive the legend of a king. He threw up his right arm in a romantic gesture, at the same time scratching his arse with his romantic left. He stood up, pulling on shattered seaman-ridden underpants. The blood of kings runs to all the Irishmen. He opened the window and spat out.
You dirty bugger!
Came a cry from below. Harris's billet was, well, it appeared to have been bombed by blockbusters filled with unemptied Arab dustbins. The only thing of any merit was a picture of Jesus stuck up with the drawing pin. It bore the legend, I will bless the house in which this picture is glorified. I wonder what went wrong. The piglet. He was housed in an old Libby's milk box lined with rubbish. The keeping of pigs in barracks was forbidden, so Harris gave the creature 2 coats of white paint with patches of brown that near as damn it made it look like a cocker spaniel. The pig got bigger and had to be repainted as a Great Dane. At night it went foraging. Lieutenant Budden awoke one night. He phoned the guardhouse. "Am I drunk?" he inquired. "No, sir," said the duty NCO. "In which case," said Budden, "there's a pig painted brown eating my boots." We tried to tether the animal, but it broke the chain. There was only one solution: dig a pit 6 foot deep and drop the animal in. Sensing our intentions, it broke free and dashed squealing over the football pitch. Seeing our Christmas dinner disappearing, we gave chase. Heading up the road to St. Leonard's, it suddenly turned right. "No, Margot, no," said Bombardier Dawson, as the pig rushed up the steps and through into the front door of the Belgravia guest house for refined gentlefolk. Screams issued forth. The crockery was breaking. Entering the hall, we saw chaos. A bald man laying face downwards on his back with a grandfather clock across him. A fat, bursting woman was clutching a gross of Pekingese. "My darlings," she trilled through a rouge hole. On the landing, a fine old man with a rolled newspaper was flailing away at nothing and shouting, "Shoo! Shoo!" A toothless crone issued forth, stirring a saucepan of thrice-watered porridge. Behind her, a blind man holding up sagging trousers appeared at the WC door. "There is no paper, Mrs. Erdel," he said. "In the cellar," screamed a refined voice. Down we raced. Up we came with the blind man bound hand and foot, still looking for a paper. "It's the wrong one," said Harris. Down we raced again. A woman on the top step kept shouting, "Mind my bottle quinces." At last we got the animal up. We were covered in cuts, bruises, and bottle quince. The pig was unmarked. With a noose around his neck, he went as quiet as a lamb. "Who," said the vast landlady, "who is going to pay for all this damage, eh?" Sergeant Harris, braces dangling low, bowed. "That's no bloody good," she said. "Madam, every last penny will be repaid," said Harris. He took her vile hand and kissed it, passing on his hereditary gingivitis. Somewhere on the steppes of Russia, squadrons of red tanks were advancing on all fronts. But England, too, was in there somewhere.